This episode of the Tiny Home Adventure, we run into some trouble at a gas station.
Last one for a couple hundred miles and nobody is here.
Eventually, get back on the road. While totally lost, we have a serendipitous run-in with an old friend who brings us to an incredible campsite. Ashley goes kiting at a totally new location, while I have some fun running around with Kicker Dog. And things take a turn for the worse when a local man decides to attack us.
It just came and attacked us for no reason. Hit the camera, ran the kite over.
After 2 years of building the expedition vehicle of our dreams from the ground up, the time has finally come to hit the road. Watch as Kicker, Ashley, and I push ourselves to our physical and emotional limits, put our relationship to the test, and overcome unforeseen obstacles. Our goal is to spread positivity while learning from some of the world's most inspiring people. Welcome to Season 3 of the Tiny Home Adventure.
It's time to head to our next destination. We stopped at the first gas station, which is the last one for a couple hundred miles, and nobody is here. It's just 21, 22. So approximately 220 miles to our next diesel fill up. I think we're gonna risk it.
We ended up getting word that the gas station attendant was either eating lunch or taking a nap, so we decided to wait.
So everyone's waiting here for the gas station attendant. He got a big round of applause, but then went into the closet a little upset, so we'll see. We'll see when he's ready. We're ready. These guys are funny though. No one's put off, they're just hanging out, partying, having a good time.
Eventually he showed up, we grabbed some fuel and hit the road.
I was told that the roads in Baja are pretty narrow. We've been going down the 5 and we've had a nice big shoulder, no big deal. I was like, wow, this is easy. This is what people are complaining about. We just made a turn onto a different road. It's still the 5, but we made a turn and now there's absolutely no shoulder. The road is super narrow and yeah, definitely a little bit higher consequence now. So I'm gonna drive a lot slower.
We pulled over to look at the map. Apparently Google Maps alone will get you into a lot of trouble down here. So we used the paper map, which was a few years out of date, and did our best as a team to make a good decision and hoped that we were on the right path.
You can get some Wi-Fi and check the surf forecast.
Yeah, let's do it.
Bust this right.
Perfect.
So we're cruising down. We just ended up at this random store and a guy, Ned, who's like a staple in Pacific City, recognizes. He's like, hey, I'm Ned. You guys remember me? So we're gonna follow him to some random camp that he's staying at. I guess he knows the spot. He spends his winters down in Baja and his summers in Pacific City, Oregon. So totally crazy small world, meant to be. So we're gonna follow him. He's on a dirt bike just mobbing ahead of us. We figured it was such a serendipitous moment that we had to follow him. We had planned on driving probably another 3 hours for the day. Like, clearly we're doing something right. It's a little bit beyond coincidence, so we're just gonna surrender to that and follow Mr. Ned out to this spot that he loves. Apparently is like the quote unquote the most beautiful place in Baja. So that's the plan, and we'll see what we have in store for us. This road's gnarly and I don't really know what to expect.
Oh boy.
This is where we ended up. There's a little break behind us. It's tiny, like unsurfably tiny. I think Ashley might try and get out on a kite.
So we pulled into camp and this is it. There's just some little like cabanas that you can rent and the wind is cranking. So I decided that I am gonna go try to kite. It's not really like surfable today. I guess it doesn't come on for a few days for surfing, but I mean there's no one else around and it's pretty windy and it's like pretty, the wind seems like it's gonna be good to go kiting. I don't know, I'm gonna try. Hopefully it goes well. We'll see. Woo!
This is the first time Ashley has ever gone kiting at a spot where she's never seen anybody kite at before. This takes some guts in my opinion. She's not at the point where she can stay upwind yet, but she's doing really good. I had to walk her back up a few times, but she was having a lot of fun. And I was having fun just running around with Kicker Dog. Ashley came in, so I walked her back upwind and helped land her kite. We were having an incredible day until
It just came and attacked us for no reason. Hit the camera, ran the kite over. So let me explain what happened here now that I'm calm. I'm just gonna explain it because I know all of us were fairly traumatized by this experience and I don't want to make Ashley and Liam relive it, but I also want to explain all of the details so that everything's clear. As you can see, we were kiteboarding, hanging out with Kicker, running around, having a great day. Ned had showed us this awesome campsite. We had met him at this convenience store, and the only deal was that we weren't allowed to tag the place, which we very, very rarely do unless it's completely obvious we were at. If we're at a national park or some iconic place, like, yeah, obviously we were at Zion, whatever. So anyways, we kind of have this interaction with this gentleman earlier in the day, and he seemed fine, and he's apparently been living out there for like 10, 15 years, and all of a sudden I see him barreling down on his bicycle yelling, "You can't do that here!" And I either thought he was joking or that he was going to stop and tell me that it was like a bird sanctuary and that you weren't allowed to fly a kite, up until he ran over the kite. At that point, I asked him, "Yo, man, like, what the hell are you doing?" And he was like, "You can't do that here, you lied." I'm like, talk to me, like, explain to me what's going on. Like, please let me know. Like, you could have come and talked to me and had a conversation. He could have come screaming and yelling and cursing, and I would have stopped and I would have listened and I would have given him respect. But unfortunately, he just decided to run over the kite as Ashley was still attached to it. So, I mean, that's a direct threat on my safety, on Ashley's safety, and on my equipment. And I stopped him. Like I said, asked him to explain himself. He just told us that we couldn't do that here, that we lied. And then Liam comes running up out of breath, wide-eyed, white as a ghost, and tells me that he had just run over his camera as well. So this guy on a bicycle has now run over a $5,000 camera, a $2,000 kite that's attached to Ashley, and almost ran me over with the bike, and then proceeds to say, "You guys have some awfully nice stuff up there. I'd hate if something bad happened to it." And because we had pulled into a spot where we knew everyone, we knew Ned, we knew the other campers, because we had been both stuck at that gas station that was closed, or the guy wasn't there, so we felt super safe. I mean, I had been editing, I had my computer on the desk, I had all this stuff out, and we had left the doors pretty much wide open. And this gentleman who just decided it was okay to run over Liam's camera, run over my kite, while my girlfriend was attached to it, has now threatened that he's gonna go destroy our homes. So he hops on his bike, rides away, and I look at Liam, and he looks at me, and I look at Ashley, and Ashley is like, "Go get him!" And, you know, I got the approval to go chase him down to protect my home, something that I worked the last 2 years to build, something that I am so heavily invested in that if this were to be maliciously destroyed to somebody, by somebody, I would be devastated financially. I mean, this is my home, this is my life, this is my livelihood. So I turned on the afterburners and chased him down, and I grabbed him by the shirt, I threw him onto the sand, which I've tackled kids that hard hundreds of times on the playground playing football. Like, it wasn't by any means like a physical attack. It was just to stop him from hurting more of my belongings. So I got him off the bike. He got up, and I was like, dude, you need to take a deep breath. Like, stop what you're doing, explain to me what's going on. And at that point, Liam caught up, and he kind of did this weird, like, karate move, like, kind of got into a fight stance and tried to karate chop at me, and I kind of looked at him and was like, what the f*** are you doing, dude? And I was like, all right, everybody needs to take a deep breath. Let's all take a deep breath. So myself, Liam, and this gentleman all take 3 deep breaths. At that point, he turns his back to me, and then turns around and punches me right in the face. Like, sucker punches me in the jaw. Next thing I know, both Liam and I are on top of him, holding him to the ground. I've never seen Liam. I know you guys have seen Liam on camera and everything, but Liam is seriously the sweetest, nicest, kindest, most gentle person I've ever met. And at this point, I've never seen him so angry and upset. But we have him on the ground, dismantled, not a single punch, kick. We didn't like twist his arm or anything. We just held him on the ground so he couldn't cause any more damage to us. If you think that I'm the attacker in this, we've got some feedback in the post that people think that I was the attacker, but I'm not gonna sit by and watch somebody destroy my belongings and attack people. Even if it wasn't my belongings, if I saw this person attacking someone like that, I would have reacted the exact same way. He was having, given the benefit of the doubt, a mental breakdown of some sort. But anyway, so we held him on the ground. Like I said, not a single punch, kick, or otherwise was thrown. Although I'd be lying if I told you I didn't have it loaded and I was deciding on whether to punch him in the face or the ribs. And I'm glad I was able to control myself, control my anger. I got up and I grabbed his bike and I threw it in like 6 inches of water just because I needed to get out this testosterone rage. Like, it was either going to be a physical attack on him or on his like worthless piece of crap rusty beach cruiser. So got my anger out, we let him get back up, and then that's when the rest of this video plays. Yeah, dude, come have a conversation with me when you sober up, you little bitch. Please do. You owe me an apology. Is your camera okay?
I don't know. I think so. When he ran it over with the bike, he smacked it. I grabbed it. I think it's okay.
What the was that, man? Whoa, dude. That all being said, we get back to camp. His friends that were staying with him come down. His wife, another person comes down and is like, oh, that's so unlike him. That's crazy, And then a couple weeks later, this is filmed much later, we come to find out that this dude has a history. I've had over 100 people tell me that they have been either verbally or physically abused by this person, and it's just unacceptable. So we all have this conversation, which I'll play.
Because I was having a good time out kiting.
It's okay.
I don't want to be here anymore.
I don't want to be here either. We're super over it.
I just don't get who the runs over someone else's without talking to them first.
We were just straight up attacked by some crazy dude on the beach that thinks this is his beach. Ashley was kiting, and I had just landed Ashley's kite, and all of a sudden I see this dude barreling down on his bike that we had met at the store earlier, coming at us out of the blue. And I thought he was joking. I thought he was going to ride around the kite, and then rode right over the kite, turned around, yelled some belligerent at me, and then started to ride away, in which I chased him down, threw him off his bike. Come to find out, he ran over Liam's camera.
Yeah, he ran straight at me. My camera's on a tripod, and he plowed the tripod threw down the camera, so I grabbed it, turned around, was still confused on what was happening, and he was chasing after them. I was trying to yell at them, but I still at this point didn't know what was happening.
Yeah, I had literally just landed my kite, and Andrew set it on the ground, and I look over and I see him riding at it, and then he rides over, and I'm like, what the f***? And then he starts like threatening us and saying that he's gonna f*** with our shit. So that's the point when Andrew went and tackled him, because we're like, well, no, you're not gonna go f*** with our shit. You're not gonna mess with my house. And then when Andrew tackled him down off the bike, then he hit Andrew in the face.
Well, first he got up and we were like, take a deep breath, dude.
Yeah.
And he took some deep breaths and we started to have a conversation, and then out of nowhere is when he hit Andrew. I like held him down on the ground pretty aggressively for some time and then told him to get the f*** up, and he wouldn't get up. I don't know if he was hurt or what
He's
it was.
fine.
Yeah,
He's
but I
fine.
was
I
like,
threw him onto the beach sand. We didn't punch it out of him.
Yeah, no, we didn't
punch him once.
We didn't hurt him at all.
We tried to get him to calm down, and then he punched me, and Liam was on him like a badger. I've never seen Liam raise his voice, much less at that intensity. And for me, like, yeah, it doesn't wear off easy to get pushed to that level. I haven't been at that level since I was like 12 years old, in some stupid playground fight, and just being attacked by somebody so out of the blue, someone that we had had a conversation with that could have came and yelled at us and had a conversation and been frustrated about something, and we could have explained our side of it to it, but instead he just took it upon himself to attack us, and now none of us feel safe, none of us feel comfortable. It's dark. We've been told you can't drive at night in Mexico.
And we're down like a very long, dirt, bumpy road that you should not drive at night for sure.
Definitely not.
And it's just a bummer to have that kind of experience. Like, we try to spread joy, we try to spread positivity and good stewardship to places like this, and to have somebody who doesn't even own the land, that's not even from here, cross that line with us and get physical more than anything, was, it's just really hurtful. And I don't know what we could have done differently to have avoided that situation, but man, it was not quite what I expected from the rest of the day today. Ashley was killing it on the kite. Vibes were high.
We were so psyched, just like, I don't know, 3 hours ago on the drive here, like turning down this road. And
it sucks because like our friend that showed us this place like now thinks it's like his fault, and like thinks he shouldn't have invited us here, and it's like,
now we feel like he feels like he shouldn't have invited us, that it's his fault that he brought us here and that it's our fault. But we were just here, like, we were just doing our thing. Everybody has the right to. It's a campsite you pay for. Like, someone's running a business here, and a dude that lives up the road took it upon himself to attack us.
yeah.
and it sucks because like now we don't feel safe, and like because we're in Mexico, don't have anything to protect ourselves. And, like, I don't know what he has in his house, so like who's to say he doesn't have a gun in there? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I asked the guy, his friends and family came to his rescue and tried to talk him off the ledge a little bit, or talk us off the ledge, but we're all pissed. And fight or flight mode is full adrenaline. And
my heart is beating so fast. Like, I'm so stressed out.
Yeah, once the guy that came down, I forget his name. I don't know, the guy in the patio.
Yeah.
Anyway, once he left, he was like the last one talking to us. I like all of a sudden couldn't control my emotions, and I don't know. That's hardly happened to me ever in my life, where I just like lose it. I just like sat down and was like, oh my gosh.
Same, I like came in here and I was like, I'm not okay.
Yeah, I started crying. I'm not a crier at all. Like,
but you've needed to cry. We talked about this. So this is what we need. We broke the barrier. So now Liam's going to be a big crier.
There we go.
I threw his bike in the ocean. He got it back. It was only like ankle deep, but it was better than me punching him in the face.
It was a nice thrill.
I was angry.
I had nothing to like defend myself or anyone else with, and like once he hit Andrew, my like adrenaline was fully going, and I was like, this guy is attacking us.
Yeah, I get where both of you guys are at, and I don't know what we did to deserve that, and what that dude's going through. I mean, trying to like work through the emotions and the like the logic of it all. Like, was it our fault? Should we not have been here? Or should we put ourselves in this guy's shoes? Or is he just having a really bad day and a tough time? Or like,
I don't know, I was trying to put myself in his shoes, and like, I mean, like, the two things that came to mind was like, one, like, I mean, I've been to places that have been blown up by people, and if you take a different approach and like accept that everyone is having a really good time there, it's like, oh, okay, cool, and it can be a positive vibe. Number two, like, he's the original one taking this land from someone, you know, like it's you know, the people, it's the Mexicans, the native Mexicans that grew up here, it's their land. He's a foreigner that's using the land just as we are using the land, and his footprint is larger than our footprint. So I mean, it's
massively larger, and that there's also people that are trying to run a business here, a family that he has leased this land from, and he didn't want to tell us about this spot because he doesn't want people here. He doesn't want that family to thrive.
It's a legit campsite.
This dude is so selfish.
A legit campsite with a restaurant, with like a family running the restaurant who are so excited to have
so
us
kind
here,
and
like,
so nice, and he doesn't want them to thrive. Like, what a selfish piece of clearly
everyone
the dude's
from
got
his family like defended his actions. I think is what's like the most fucked up to me. Like, to say like, well, but you were filming, and it's like, this is, you can film wherever you want, first of all. Second of all, we've already told you we're not going to put the name of this spot, which now I want to, because I don't want someone else to have to go through this. Also,
if you see a tan man on a shitty bike rolling at you at 32 miles an hour, pretending like he's going to run over your kite, or you over, or your camera gear, he actually is going to run you and your gear over.
Yeah,
I thought he was joshing us.
I did too.
I thought he was going to do a sweet like burnout turn and be like, oh, I thought he was mad about the kite. I thought we weren't allowed to kiteboard here because there's like some like bird or something.
I know, I literally thought he was going to be like, no kiting, and I was going to be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't know.
I didn't see the sign.
Yeah,
but
but
then
instead
he just ran over my kite,
and
punched my boyfriend in the face, threatened my dog in my house, and ran over Liam's camera gear.
Is that where he punched me? Right on the jaw?
Yeah. Does it hurt?
When I touch it, it hurts.
Yeah, he got you right on the chin.
I heard it hit you.
It looks like it's growing maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I can feel a little bit of a bump.
I heard it hit you, like, I heard it connect, and that's why I was like, are you okay? Because it was loud.
And I kind of blacked out what happened after that, but I just, all of a sudden, you and I were on top of him, and then you were running and chasing the bike, so I don't really
I just grabbed him, I think, and he tried to swing again, and I, like, blocked it.
Yeah, okay, I do remember that. He tried to swing again, and that's when I, like, jumped on him, too.
It was like, it all happened so fast.
And, like, when we were debriefing with everyone minus George, including Sandra, one of the things that, like, kept getting me is they kept talking about what like all the backstory, some backstory behind them and all of this, but I don't care what sort of backstory you have. They also said George's a really chill dude. Well, I'm a really chill dude, but if I decide to pull the trigger on someone and kill someone, I'm no longer a chill dude. I'm a murderer. You know what I mean? Like, nothing excuses that. No matter what sort of backstory you have, we all have our issues that we're dealing with. Nothing allows you to, like,
you know, driving around this big fancy vehicle that I worked so damn hard for. I bet you that guy and I are cut from the same cloth. He worked so hard to build what he has. He found this slice of heaven. He's made it his home. You know, I unfortunately don't live in a world today where I can find something like that and afford it. So I had to build this. And it's different time, different era, but I hope this is a lesson that we can all take forward in our lives when we do carve out our little slices of heaven, that we don't attack other people that are, you know, maybe living a little bit differently than they are, or feel threatened by, you know, we feel threatened by them, and we can actually go and approach them and have a real conversation, opposed to bringing it to a level that it really didn't need to come to. So, you know, as tough as this moment is right now, and as uncomfortable and as shitty as we all feel, maybe there's a lesson there. There's always a lesson there, and maybe it's something that we can use forward in our life moving forward that will save us pain and heartache down the road.
I am so glad you did not put the drone up here.
So after all that, we decided the next morning that we're going to leave. We wanted to leave that night, but we couldn't because it being dark, and we really didn't have any other place to go. That we needed to have a talk to him to explain to him what he did and how wrong it was, and how he could have just had a conversation and it would have made such a big difference. And we got up there, and he played this Poor Me
I've got all these issues, blah, 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 whatever. And we basically told him that he cost us $5,000 worth of gear, so we're going to have to take $5,000 worth of surfboards. And he agreed that that was fair. And of course, we weren't actually going to take his surfboard. So we stepped outside, we had a little powwow, and decided that we would leave it at, if we had heard that he harasses a single person while we're gone, because this was the beginning of our trip, we're going to be back through. If he harasses us, if we hear that he's acting the way that he's acting, that the way he acted towards us, that we're going to come back and we're going to take all of his surfboards, in hopes to like make him realize and make him see that he has this unbelievable slice of paradise. He has this beachfront property at a remote surf break, and it's a slice of heaven that I don't think very many people will ever be able to have again. There's a lot of takeaways, and it's something that we've had to spend a lot of time thinking about, a lot of time working through. I know it's been really traumatic for all of us moving forward, but there are some takeaways, there are some lessons, and more than anything, I hope that he can realize that how inappropriate his actions were and how inappropriate his actions are, and that if he continues to act the way that he's acting, he's going to lose everything he has. We'll see how it goes moving forward, but I wanted to explain that scenario. I'm really proud of how I reacted, how Liam reacted, and how Ashley reacted. The fact that not a single punch, kick, or otherwise malicious, like attacking move was made on our part, I think speaks a lot. You never know how you're going to react in a situation like that until it's in front of you, staring you in the face. So, I have some past childhood trauma that kind of feeds into that, and certain things in my life that I just didn't know how I would react. So anyways, I think we handled ourselves the best we could have. I know this is unlike any of our other episodes. We usually try to keep things super positive and upbeat, but also real. And this is something real that happened to us, and it's something that will be with us for the rest of our lives. And I just hope that George can have a mind shift change, because what he's doing and who he's become is very toxic, and frankly, he doesn't deserve the lifestyle that he's built. So that's going to wrap up this episode of the Tiny Home Adventure. I apologize for it not being our traditional happy, upbeat, positive content. Our goal is to produce positive, uplifting, inspiring, and real content, and this was just a real life experience that happened. We were dealing with somebody that was having a mental breakdown, and thank goodness it wasn't worse. But it's part of life, and I think we handled ourselves as well as we could have. And I just want to say a big thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you to all of our patrons for your support. We're doing our best to keep up with weekly episodes, and without your support, none of this would be possible. So thank you. We love you, and I hope everybody is having an amazing week, and we will see you in the next episode of the Tiny Home Adventure. Woohoo! Thanks for the love, Kicker. You really are the best dog a man could ask for. Yum. All right, guys.